Oh, a few people on. Evening, gents. Who have we got? Corbett, Robin, Ollie, Luke. Who else is there? Kez, hello mate. Come on. Turn the camera to your right a bit. That because you don't want to see the QPR shirt. Not going to be a problem. Let me... Oh, there you go. Seems to be slightly better internet now. Right, guys. Thanks all for coming on. I've got the request from Sam, so I'm going to ping him on now.
Yes.
There he is.
There he is. All good,
Good
mate.
evening.
How you doing, pal?
I'm very good, mate. I'm very good. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I've got a confession to make. This is my first live thingamajig, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, I was just having a bit of faff about there, thinking, right, how does this work? What's the Insta Live all about? Just having a bit of a moment, but all good, man. Thanks for having me on.
No worries, mate. Thank you for coming on. How's it all going? How's lockdown life?
Do you know what? It hasn't been too bad. It hasn't been too bad. Once you're over the initial shock, the transition period, all the what ifs and stuff like that, I was lucky and had a lot of loyal clients who just made the transition straight from gym workouts into the home workouts. Zoom's been an absolute godsend.
Yeah. Social
media's been a godsend. And once you're over the initial shock and stuff like that, you start to adapt and you start to find a rhythm. And you just roll with the punches, really. I don't know how it's been for you. How's it been?
Well, I mean, yeah, I've found it tough. I'm in a very lucky position with kind of where we are, and I wouldn't moan too much. But I found the first one, you kind of really went out of your way to psych yourself up to be like, right, this is what it is. No one's done this before. Let's be positive. And I think just away from business or anything like that, the home life, having kids, having the summer or the spring, that little heat wave we had, we were almost relishing it. I'd had a massive 2019 for work and for the tour and golf. So it was almost like, it's all right, recharge your batteries. There's nothing you can do about it. Then we kind of saw I suppose, the implications that it actually had. Yeah. Financially, volume-wise, work-wise, especially on the golf world. And then as you start to gain that momentum and build up a bit of kind of steam, we're thrown back into another lockdown. Tough. And I think this one, just with the weather, the way that we're kind of, there isn't that availability to get out and go for walks, spend as much time outside. I found it a little bit tougher.
This one's been the toughest one.
Yeah, definitely.
This one's been the toughest one for sure.
But, you know, it's all a mindset, and all we can do is be positive, and, you know, there's people in far worse positions. So all in all...
Yeah, exactly that. We're here. I wrote an email out actually this morning to my list, and it was talking about uncertainty. I've got a holiday booked to the Algarve in June. We booked it last June, right? And it's of the mindset of, well, it's a year away. We'll be fine. Yeah, there's no way we're not going. Now, as we're getting a little bit closer, you start to get some uncertainty. But what can you do about that? Like, that's all stuff that's out of my control. Yeah. If and then just to flip it on what I was saying to the guys on the list, it's like, look, the beauty of your fitness stuff and the uncertainty around like getting started with something, that's totally within your control. So you can do stuff about that. That's where I think people are struggling with the lockdown and stuff like that, is that uncertainty about like what if and stuff like that. An interesting time for sure.
So with you, mate, obviously, you know, we've known each other a good few years now and come across each other in golf and on the tour. But for the guys out there that obviously haven't seen you, or don't know much about what you do, what was your kind of inlet into, firstly, golf? How did you get into the world of golf and your own kind of play? Because you're a decent player as well, aren't you? You're not...
I've got there. Yeah, I've got there. I've been... I'm a decent player now. I mean, I have my moments. So what was the question now? How did I get into golf?
Golf, yeah, golf first, golf in general.
So from my dad, mate, to be honest, I remember I would have been early years, 10, 11, maybe even a little bit younger than that. And he used to take me along to his golf socials and stuff like that. He'd lure me in with the, oh, all right, okay, it was a treat for me to go and caddy for him. My dad's that good a storyteller, right? He can, and he spun it, so it was a treat for me to go and caddy for him. Yeah, he said, right, you can get in the buggy, let's get some time. He said, we'll put a couple of your clubs in, and then when we get out away from the clubhouse, you can whack a few.
How old were you?
I was probably about 10 years old, something like that. And it was just a great buzz, mate, to be honest. It was just the surroundings, the atmosphere between him and his mates, the games. I remember one, so it was like, you know, Gatton Manor, didn't you? That's not too far away from you.
That's really close to me now.
So there's a little par 3 over the water, and they would all tee off, they would take their shots. And then I'd have my knockdown clubs, yeah? So then they would take a second shot with one of my knockdown clubs, play nearest the pin with that. So that was always a fond memory. And then it just sort of developed from there, really. And it was like, because I could play, it was like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't like a world beater at 10, like, but I could hit a ball, yeah? And you know, when you get a bit of momentum behind you and your parents are spurring you on and stuff like that, and I thought I was good enough to enjoy it, yeah? Played quite a lot in my teenage years, again, nothing too fancy. Didn't play much in my 20s, didn't play much, had an office job, so sort of golf took a backward step, really, and then got into my fitness work. Picked it up again 5 years ago when I stopped playing football. I played Sunday League football, and so that stopped. And I thought, well, what now? And then I thought, well, I'm going to go back to golf. But I was always told that I could be better than I was. Yeah, like early years. I mean, nothing special. So I'm talking like 14, 15 handicap when I was 15 or something like that. Nothing big. No. But always that seed in your head, like, well, you could be. Was my dad again? You could be single figures. You could be single figures. Easy.
Yeah. And the more you play, the more you play, the more you see that the difference between a 9 and a 14 is not a lot.
It's playing time, mate. It's playing time. So then, I got to sort of early mid-30s, stopped playing football, and I was like, right, fuck it, let's see, can I get to single figures? And I did in about a year. But again, that come from playing time. But I went all in, Simon. I went all in on lessons. I'll be doing my personal training clients up in London. On the train coming back from London, I'll be booking a tee-off time at Waldenham. I only lived up the road from me. I was finishing work at 1 o'clock. I was on the first tee at Waldenham by 2, by myself. And I was doing that 2 or 3 times a week. So I went fully in. New clubs, lessons, loads of golf. And and then here we are now.
Officially got the golf bug then.
Oh, big time.
Nice. And then, so how, obviously, so you got into your personal training first, professionally. Was that then generic? Were you just coaching like a normal PT across all kind of fitness levels, all genres?
Yes. Yeah, very much so. Although my first job in the personal training industry was at Adamson Palace Country Club. And actually one of my first clients was a golfer, a young golfer who went on to play on the Euro Pro or something like that.
Right.
And I started training him. But it wasn't golf specific. We gelled because I loved golf and he played. And I just happened to be working at a golf fitness centre at Adamson Palace Country Club.
Did he come to you and ask for generic PT or generic help? Or was he, because obviously he was a playing pro, did he come to you and say, you have to gear what you're doing around my golf?
A little bit of that. But it was quite a lot of just a bit of right place, right time. Mate, I'm fresh out of PT school at this point, so I don't really know what I'm talking about. And so it's sort of like one of those things. However, that being said, he did go on to, he got great results from his golf. And the training was very basic at the time. Yeah. Not too different now, to be honest. A lot of people overcomplicate it, especially when they're getting started. Basics work really well, and it did for him, and it will work for a lot of amateur golfers, general public. populations, people like myself, sort of, who just love it, want to get that little bit better.
Yeah, yeah. Nice. Okay. So, and then what you do now, obviously, that's transformed over the last 3, 4, 5 years. Is that now mainly specific for golf coaching, or is that just an element that you kind of put into your general?
It's where I focus that's where I focus my work now. So it was so when I got back into golf, got the golf bug big time. That's when I sort of linked the two. I just thought, well, I love this game. I love what it does for people. I'm a specialist in my field. Let's just bring the two together.
Yeah.
And it has just been as simple as that, and then bringing it. And that was about 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Well, I was going to say that as well has massively helped, because I mean, when I was playing golf, when I was kind of 20, 21, there wasn't a golf fit. I mean, Tiger did it, and he did it obviously, but he did it by himself. There wasn't really anyone else that was even copying the trend yet. It's very much this generation of golfer now. I mean, you've got the obvious, the Rory transformation, the Bryson, but I mean, I follow a lot of golfers, especially up and coming, that are playing, like you said, Euro Pro, TP, Clutch, anything like that. And they're all in the gym. You don't get to go through a week of following their stories or posts, and they're all on golf specific training. It's now, it's not just an advisable thing. It's almost a necessity. We've very much followed the American structure, where they for 10, 15, 20 years, the students in the colleges set up in the States, it's been part of their training week religiously. And now it's come over here. So it's obviously, it's a good time for you to get into it, because as I said, 10, 15 years ago, there wasn't really anything there.
Yeah, like you say, Tiger was an anomaly, wasn't he? But they're not, I don't think they consider themselves golfers anymore. They consider themselves athletes, don't they?
Yeah, 100%.
Very much so. Very much. And that's been down, right?
That's exactly it. Yeah, it comes down the levels now, because everyone's trying to improve wherever they can. It seems like every golfer is of a better standard and has that information. They've got the information on how to practice like pros, how to work on your short games, how to work on your swing, but also the information is out there now. Whether you go on YouTube or whether you go on Instagram or speak to you guys on how to train specifically.
The information is there, and you don't have to look very hard to find it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's just so convenient. Yeah.
Yeah, it was certainly. I got into mine. I didn't train at all. I mean, I played a lot. It was football and golf for me growing up, and it was always kind of either or. And it was football up until about 14. Then it was golf until about 19. Then flipped again. And all of my gym work was only ever, it was cardio or it was leg work for football. And it was only when I started seeing a PT a couple of years ago now, when my weight would fluctuate, whether I was just on a fad or not, to try and lose a bit. Then I fall off the wagon, have a bad 6 months, try and lose the weight. But it was never get in the gym, work on strength, work on your core, work on actually a bit of a plan. So I just said, look, I obviously don't know what I'm doing. Let's see a PT. And I saw a guy, Darren Newell from Epsom, David Lloyd.
Yeah.
And he was brilliant. And it's hard because I had the tag of a pro golfer. And that's when people ask what you do. It's a massive part of my life. And it was very much, do you want the training to be focused around your golf? And I wasn't playing on anything. I was playing a few TP events. And I said, no, to be honest, I'd rather build up a base of fitness and then see how we go, and then see if we make it a bit more golf specific, depending on if my motivations change or if I start playing a bit. And it was brilliant, because I felt like rather than going straight into golf work, I actually built up a natural strength and a bit of a generic plan. And then we started working on the more kind of golf specific elements. And the effect that I saw just on my own golf, I mean, everyone always asks, we've got a load of questions here from the Instagram guys. And 5 or 6 people asked, have you gained distance? Have you got stronger? And the answer is, yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell how much percentages with the new balls, new technology. But I know I've always been very bang on with my yardages. And I know that for a fact, I've gained distance since I've started going to the gym. And it's hard to, I don't know if it's purely because I'm able to hit the golf ball harder. I'm sure if I'd have stood back 3-4 years ago with trying to hit the ball as hard as I could have probably hit it as far as I do now. But I feel more confident in the stability of my core and my swing that I can hit it further without trying. I think that's the big element that the golf structure gives you.
I would agree with that. Have you got and you've got stronger as well, right, over the last 2 years?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, and built those foundations. So I find as well with the yardages, strength is huge. Strength is huge. If you can get stronger, you're developing your available power. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the stronger you are, the more available power that you have. Yeah. So you've got more of that to tap into, i.e., when that happens, you can hit the ball a little bit further.
Definitely. And again, it's like I said, it's just everything feels a lot more connected. When I first started training, I'd go to the gym and I couldn't go anywhere near a golf club. I couldn't move for 2 or 3 days in that area. Then you obviously build up that resistance and your body adapts. And I felt like I'd play better golf having worked out because it felt tighter and you felt more together. Whereas my bad habits, my cut at the top, my long lazy swing would come out more if I hadn't trained. So it actually kind of did a full 180 once you get into that routine and build up the consistency with it.
Yeah, it's a bit of magic there, I guess. A bit of magic as well. And are you still training with your trainer now, or how has your program developed?
Well, I moved from Dorking, which was next to Epsom, so it was very convenient. I moved over to Horsham. I've joined a new decent gym, Slimfold. So I haven't carried on the PT in there, but I saw Darren for about 18 months and he gave me 2 or 3 different versions to currently work on. We had to be very careful because I've got a real struggle in my lower right back, basically just above my hip, which between Darren and the chiropractor, we managed it as best we could. It was one of those where we really wanted to push deadlifts, squats. And when I was with Darren and being monitored, absolutely fine. Yeah. As soon as I came away, and it was actually first lockdown, because I moved in the Feb and we went into lockdown in March last year. So I'd gone from training with Darren, every single rep of every set was monitored. And you'll know yourself, you don't get halfway through a set if you're doing it wrong without being told. Yeah. Fast forward to lockdown, I've got 3 months by myself and all of a sudden my back's the worst it's ever been. Jerking on deadlifts, not using quite the right equipment. And yeah, it took me about 3 months of basically doing no lower body or core work and seeing a chiropractor twice a week to get it back just to where I am now. So it was that's always, at the moment I'm doing a generic training plan. At the moment I'll be doing splits of probably a muscle group a day, but more for motivation. I find that when the gyms are open, I can get in the gym and an hour flies by and I'm almost pushing myself to leave. Yeah. Working out from home, I'll say I'll try and do chest and tries. I'll get halfway through the chest workout, look at the clock and think,
tries will wait. I'll have triceps for breakfast.
I'll throw in an arm day. We'll do buys and tries together. So it's I'm much more I benefit much more being in the gym where you actually go there, you've got a structure, you get on with what you're going to get on with. I find here, being at home with the kids, the phone rings, it's
too many distractions, isn't it?
Exactly.
Too many distractions.
It's ticking over, but it's borderline just going through the motions of it.
Yeah, which is okay in some respects as well. Like as long as you're doing something, and also you've had the previous experience of knowing that stuff works for you. Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky. I've got that bit of kind of depth to it now, where it's been 2 years of I've obviously had a few wobbles, but pretty solid, pretty consistent training where, as you know, you can kind of, having a rest every now and again or lowering the intensity is not the worst thing in the world. Not at all, especially now. Like you're at home, you've got kids, new home as well. Sometimes just getting something done, half an hour. I do it myself a lot. My workouts very rarely take more than 45 minutes. Yeah,
that's a big point, because when I was working in the golf industry full time, my actual motivation to go and play golf was awful. If I was doing a 9-hour shop in the pro shop, as soon as I clocked off,
so the last thing you want to do, isn't it? Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to see was a golf club. I spoke about for 9 hours to people. What are you like now, obviously, with your PT? Because I mean, are you consistent with diet and training? How does it go?
It fluctuates again, mate. I'll be honest, I'm not a massive exerciser. I have to really push myself. I find it uncomfortable, sometimes borderline hate it. It's mental to say as a personal trainer, but it's like, just like you were saying there in the working in the golf industry, the last thing you want to do is play golf. That being said, I completely appreciate the benefits of exercise, what it does, one, for me golf, but also what it does for my own personal health as well. So, you know, for the sake of a 45-minute workout, like, you're going to get your shit done, yeah? But I've also hired coaches as well. I'm sure you've worked with golf coaches in the past, and you do currently, right?
Absolutely,
so, yeah. So I have a trainer, so I work online with someone, a girl, Nat, from ProFit Golf Conditioning up in Manchester. She works online, and we've been working together for about 5 months. Yeah. And it just takes away
for motivation, for technique, for instruction. What's the
for all of those things. And also, as a coach, like, if I haven't got a coach, then does that tell people that I don't really believe in coaching? Probably. Yeah. So I don't really want to be a hypocrite, right? So, but also going back to the exercise thing, if I've got someone there to report to, I'm getting it done.
Yeah. And that was the thing I had having a PT. It was, I'm not missing workouts as such, but the actual quality of them compared to working with a coach, a PT, a trainer, is second to none.
You don't have to think about it. Yeah, you know you're in good hands. You know you've been looked after, and you know you're choice. Yeah,
that last set, or that pushing that extra rep out every now. But also, you know, like I've said before, I'm always very conscious of getting injured, and when I have gone the other way, and I'm a very addictive personality, so when I am right and very motivated, I can almost go the other way and overtrain, and all of a sudden then, without watchful eyes on you, that's when you start getting injured. So it's I completely appreciate it's a win-win.
Yeah, exactly. You have someone there looking after you. It's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, 100%. One big topic we obviously can't not talk about. What's your thoughts on the latest fitness superstar then in old Bryson?
Mate, I love Bryson. I think what Bryson is doing for the game now, in terms of inspiring, because we go back to that, they talked about, we've talked about golfers being athletes now.
Yeah.
And Bryson's getting eyes on the golf. He's changing the game. Yeah. I think it must be like watching Bryson. If you're just getting into golf, watching Bryson must be similar to us watching Tiger. If you're of that sort of age, you're changing. Yeah. He's changing the game, and he's doing something different, which is why it's causing a bit of a stir. And he's getting results. You can't argue with that. He won the US Open, the Masters. I think his performance at the Masters was a bit more to do with between the ears than his physical state. But he's made.
I think as well. I mean, the British press are the worst for it. But you're talking 100 players. You're talking 100 to 1. You know, all of those players that go to the Masters, obviously, and that type of event is massively pushed towards previous winners, experience of the course. I think it was massively understated that he didn't have a green book that week. I mean,
big time.
There was a lot of elements. And again, you're talking about the greatest player that's ever lived, either or, whether you want to go Jack or Tiger. They won 80 times in their whole career.
Yeah.
They're playing in 25 events a year. It's not as if you can say, well, he's clicked, he's smashed it, he's going to go and win every event. The game just doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work like that. But what he's doing from a fitness perspective in terms of getting eyes on golf is massive. And I love him for that. And he's chosen a method as well for strength training that if the amateur golfer done 10% of the work he does, that's a huge benefits.
Yeah.
Strength training is so huge for golfers now, that him highlighting it is good for us. It's good. It's a good thing.
I don't think, mate. I don't think it's ever going to, with or without Bryson. I think he's put a bit more of a spotlight on it. But if you watch the PGA, if you watch the stats, if you watch the way they're told to promote it, if you watch all the payment for advertisement is all drivers. All of the stats are all proving that the distance is going one way. And I hear a massive argument, and whether I'm a massive Bryson fan or not, I mean, I'm definitely not a yes or a no. He's the complete opposite to me. I've always been a field golfer. So take away the distance, take away the size he's put on, just in the way he actually plays the game. But I actually employed a caddy to work with me when I was playing on tour. That was that mindset, to try and balance us out. Because I come from a generation where I didn't have a Bushnell until I was about 21. I mean, I used to look at the 150 marker, throw a bit of grass in the air and work out it was roughly a wedge or a 9-iron.
I still do that now.
And I had a caddy that was complete opposite. I mean, everything he did was mathematically down to an absolute science.
Right.
So I completely respect that side of golf. And I think that, you know, even if you are either end of the spectrum, you can still kind of meet in the middle somewhere and learn from both parts. But I think one thing Bryson has done is he's shown that having distance is nothing but an advantage.
Yeah.
If you can't control it, obviously not. But if he's somewhere within the parameters of where his dispersion was, and he's hitting it that much further. I mean, they tried to do it at the US Open. They tried to grow the rough up. All it means is that he's hitting out the rough with a wedge and everyone else is using an 8-iron.
And everyone's a 4-iron. I heard on the US Open, Bryson said their biggest mistake that they did in trying to Bryson-proof the course, if you like, is they not only did they sort of narrow the landing areas where he was going to be landing it, but they also narrowed the landing areas for everyone else as well. So they're hitting into a postage stamp and they're missing it. They've got 8-irons, whereas he's missing it and they've got a wedge. So it wasn't
the problem
really
is if they don't do that, then they're almost just singling him out. I don't think you can start, you know, what are you saying to the future of golf? Golf's going to evolve. People are going to hit it further. Are you going to start just pocketing the fairway at tiny strips at 340 to take, I mean, what you're looking at, 4 or 5 players really, your Cameron Champs, DJs, you know, those kind of huge hitters. You're just going to penalise them? Is that really the way that you want to go?
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. That's not good for the game. But from a fitness perspective, what can we learn from Bryson? Strength training works, mate. And not just for hitting distance, in terms of longevity, in terms of improving flexibility, in terms of reducing injury. All of these are massive benefits for the amateur golfer. Longevity as well. If you think about lifting a few weights in the gym, you start getting into that a couple of times a week safely, you're improving bone density as well. What happens when you get to sort of age 60, 70? You're playing golf. You're not like getting there and thinking, oh man, I wish I was playing golf. My body's let me down. You're playing because you spent the time to learn from Bryson. I don't think people talk about that side of things enough when you got the golf analysts and stuff like that. I think they're hating on him. I don't know why, but that's their prerogative. But if they was to able to just talk about some of the other benefits as well, it's great for us.
I think it's always hard. I mean, different golf promotions, different channels that play it seem to always have a slightly different agenda. And I think with someone like Bryson, when you are such a kind of marmite of love or hate, I think they're always a little bit guarded to actually promote it in that way that we're fully behind it. So you see a lot of them. And also, it tends to be the older generation of commentator or pundit that doesn't necessarily favour him. And then you see a lot of the new guys that are up and coming that are thinking, well, you know, why not? It's all
why not?
It's all
Golf's
about
changed.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got like 1990s commentators putting their opinion on 2020 golf. A bit stuck in the past. But,
100%. The only thing I would mention, and this is actually, it came up in one of the questions, but I'm going to steal it and use it now. There does seem to be a much bigger trend of golfers, your athletes, your Rorys, getting injured a lot more. When if you look at someone like Phil Mickelson, who apart from maybe doing calf day, doesn't look like he's ever been in the gym, until very recently. But if you look about his career from 21 when he joined the tour up until, let's go, mid-40s, those golfers didn't seem to have an injury, were able to play all the time, and still known for hitting it miles. Obviously, it's going to be relative to the time periods, but what's your thoughts on that?
It's an interesting topic. I mean, I'm not massively qualified to talk about injuries per se, but in terms of opinions, I think these guys are trying to hit the ball as hard as they can, aren't they? Quite a lot of the time. And there's a lot of repetition, numerous things a day, which, again, I think is one of the reasons why they will be in the gym and protecting their bodies and stuff like that, to find that balance.
Yeah.
But they've got to put the work in, because this is their job. This is what they're getting paid to do. So I don't know if the injury side of things would feed down into my level or anything like that. I don't think so. I don't think I play enough. I don't think I train as hard as these guys in order to experience that. It's just quite a subjective thing.
And I suppose it's probably very fair to say that, you know, I always look at Rory as a prime example, that he seemed to get injured quite a bit. I mean, he had a massive body transformation, and
yes,
like anything, 3 or 4 years ago, it was like you say, coming into the industry, it was very new, the golf fitness world. So they're probably learning as they go as well, and it will evolve over time where, you know, a lot of these guys are almost being the guinea pigs for the gym sessions on tour.
Yeah, there is that.
All right, well, mate, shall we? I've got 8 or 9 questions here that have come through for Instagram. Should we jump on some of them?
Try them over. Let's have a go.
All right. Well, we can work out who's best qualified to answer these. First one, certainly go to you. What can I do to make me hit the ball further?
Simple answer is get stronger. For that one, spend some time lifting weights. If you, the safer the better with that. Obviously, don't go in blind. But some exercises off the top of my head, some compound movements such as your squat, your hip hinge, and your bench press. So squat and the bench press have been shown to have a direct correlation to increasing club head speed. So going to have
Why the bench press? I know the squat makes complete sense because of the lower
connectivity of the chest muscles, keeping the arms in tight. So building that connectivity there and getting the efficiency of the golf swing. Okay. So staying nice and compact. You could argue pull-ups as well in that equation for the same reasons.
Okay, brilliant. Right, number 2. How do you find motivation during lockdown to exercise, and any tips? Well, we've obviously kind of already been through that, but yeah, anything?
That's a great question and an interesting subject. So motivation is a funny one. Motivation isn't something that you find, something that you can create. So we're all capable of creating motivation. Don't just find it. And create motivation comes from results, from putting one foot in front of the other and seeing the results that you're trying to achieve. All right, probably not really the answer that you was looking for. Moving on from that, it's find out your why. Like, get into what's your purpose for training. Why are you doing it? You know, for me, I want to get better at golf. So my program is geared around getting better at golf. If I wake up one day and I want to skip a workout, I can just ask myself, right, will this decision help me get better at golf or not? Yeah. And then if the answer is no, then I need to ask myself if I'm going to be okay with that day. And if I am, then I am. And if I'm not, then I'll go and get my workout. So I would say get to the nitty gritty on your reasons.
Yeah.
And then the third one, get a good coach by your side. Someone to report to. And if you can't get a coach, choose a friend, partner. Yeah. And get someone to hold you accountable to the things that you said you was going to do.
I definitely find as well, it's kind of stages. You get that initial buzz when you get into it, and then you get the dangerous time. You get the dangerous time where excuses start to become very easy. And for me, it's generally like 2 or 3 weeks. And then you miss a session, you miss another one, and all of a sudden you start aching again, and then you're off. Whereas if you can break through, I mean, as I said, I've been training for a couple of years now. It doesn't even come into my mind that I'm not going to. You can miss 2 or 3 days. You know that you're getting straight back to it because it's almost a force of habit now. Yeah,
and you've got to have a measure as well. You got to know what you're measuring against, which goes back into like finding your reason for your training, for your motivation. And results is key as well, man. So that's why you measure against your results, so you're getting closer to where you want to be. If you are, I can guarantee that you'll feel motivated to get your next workout done. And if you start to see yourself moving away from your results, that's when motivation can dwindle. But again, it's something that we can create by taking action.
Okay, perfect. This is a good one from what you've been talking about. What workouts do you do that particularly help your game?
So that's the benefits of me working with my coach. When we started working together, we've done a full screening to find out exactly my areas that needed improving and also where I'm strong. So you continue to train your strengths because you're good at them, and then during that you address your weaknesses as well. So for me personally, I am really working on my ankle mobility and stability. My hip rotation has come along a great deal in the last sort of 3 to 6 months, and some spine mobility as well.
So would you, if you say, for example, if you've got your strengths up here and your weaknesses here, are you trying to keep that balance but move everything stronger, or are you trying to eventually even it all out?
That's a great question. I would say even it out, but you're probably fighting an uphill battle there.
Naturally, your stronger habits,
Yeah, exactly. Which is why, like, say for example, I don't know anything about your body, Simon, but if you needed to improve your hip rotation, but your upper body strength, your bench press game is super strong. Yeah. So you'll get excited about doing bench press because you know that you're good at it. And you won't be too hot on doing your hip rotation work, even though it's good for you. It'll be a push for you to do it because it's not that great. So if you compare the two together, pair one of your strengths, you do your set of bench presses, pair that with an exercise that's going to work on your hip mobility, then you're getting double whammy, yeah?
Right, okay.
Good.
Brilliant. Okay, what else have we got? I was trying to keep it to workouts for a little bit. What workouts are you currently doing? We kind of covered that. What are you working out the same with a home setup as you would in the gym, or if so, how much does it differ?
Not a massive difference. Not a massive difference. Again, I think that comes from my knowledge and being able to adapt it. So I know from lockdown, one of the biggest things would have been worry. Like the gym's been taken away from me, I'm definitely gonna stall. But just having that now, just to take a little step back and go, right, I can't do heavy bench press, just for lack of a better exercise. I can't do heavy bench press. What muscles are involved in the bench press? Okay, mainly chest muscles. What exercises can I do that's going to work the chest muscles? I'm going to go to a press up. Yeah, I can do, let's say, for example, you can do 8 reps on the bench press at 60 kilos, but you can do 25 press ups. Yeah, they're 2 different training stimuluses. But what you can do is manipulate the press up so that you can sort of get the same stimulus. So you're sort of getting around about 8 to 10 reps on the press up that you are on the bench press. Yeah.
Right.
You can work into like slow tempos. You can work into having one hand higher than the other. You can work into actually nailing your press up technique as well. A lot of people think they can do 25 press ups, but if you were to watch them perform them, it could be a different story. So actually hammering the technique as well. It is another way, but making that transition from gym to home workout, not a massive difference. I mean, I'm blessed with equipment here, to be honest, as well. So it's it was a quick transition for me, but other people might not be the same.
Okay. I'll jump. So we've got here, do you have a GC quad, which I think's been thrown at me, obviously.
No, mate, I don't have that. I'd leave that to the technical golf guys who actually know how to explain your GC quad to people. I think what they've done on a lot of toes.
They've seen my live. I put a post up the other day, so I've just got one.
Yeah. How is it?
Yeah, it hasn't come yet. It's on a back order, but Foresight, the guys down in Guildford who look after the whole of the kind of Europe for GC quad, they have, I think it's being dispatched early next week. So
but you're looking forward to that, yeah?
Oh mate, I can't wait. I mean, I've always been a little bit more on the TrackMan side of things, but purely because it's a little bit more common and a bit more popular. So
Okay.
But I've done gap-ins. One of the guys that I see out in Sunshine Golf in Spain is a GC quad. And for what I'll be doing with coaching and helping people kind of just progress their general game, yeah, second to none. Just being able to get that club and ball data is absolutely, immeasurable. I've got here, are you playing on the Vestis Tour this season? So I'm assuming
100%, mate. Yeah, I was down for the Farley event. Unfortunately, that's been canned, isn't it? But no, I'll be there. I'll be really looking forward to it, to be honest.
Good man. Good man. It's we kick off on the 14th of March back at Farley. All fingers crossed.
Very good.
Then Surrey Downs. It's just we've got a good schedule built now until mid-June, early July. But it's just getting the golf courses on board, mate, because they're so inundated with that buzz of once lockdown comes out. They can be a little bit short-sighted, where all of a sudden they expect the next kind of foreseeable future to be busy and the golf buzz to continue on. So it is a little bit.
Imagine that, yeah.
Yeah.
Golfers were the envy of the world, weren't they? When do you remember it got eased? Golf was one of the first things to get eased, wasn't it? And all of a sudden we was all playing.
Mate, I had people come out the woodwork that I played football with when I was about 15.
Yeah.
They didn't know which end to hold the golf club, but was saying, look, can we go and play? I just want to get out of the house. It's sunny. My dog doesn't want to walk anymore. Can I come and play golf? So, I've got here, who did my home setup in the garden? Have you seen any of the stuff I've got at home now?
In yours?
Yeah.
I see you got a bench, you got a pull-up bar, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've got
you got the squat rack.
Yeah, a makeshift one. So I had a lot last time, and when we moved into the house, we had a very old school garden that was just mud and clay. And even in that heat wave, if it rained for half an hour, you couldn't go out there. So we had the garden done, and when it was done, Kelly kind of put her foot down, and she made me we've got a lock-up for work. She made me put it all in the lock-up.
Yeah.
So this time what have I got? I've got a pull-up bar that's got dips on it. I've got a bench that you can do incline off. And if you put the pull-up and the dip station, you can put it on a bench, and you can just about, if you get it high enough, you can do squats off the dip bar.
I see, yeah. So you got a few prison workouts going on there, so yeah.
Pretty much. got the kids on my back trying to do press-ups.
That's it, mate. Load that backpack up. I've got actually one of the best bit of kit we got. I got a pull-up bar. We got one installed, and they come. It was called Insight Fitness, and they come. You do the installation. Got two big old beams, pull-up bar. I don't know if you've seen the picture. I'll send it to you, or I'll post it on here afterwards. And great bit of kit. So good. So with the installation and all the equipment, there's 300 quid for that, which was it gets a lot. It gets a load of use. Yeah, Charlotte's out there on the pull-ups all the time. We can attach rings to that, bands, and then in the garage we got the squat rack plates and stuff like that, kettlebells. Yeah, so nice. We basically just fitted it out over the course of lockdown and throughout. But yeah, it's coming
done well, mate. I was seeing dumbbells online being sold for like 200 quid. It's just ridiculous.
I had a red resistance band, right? These things should cost 8 quid. And they're looking over 40 quid when lockdown hit, the first one. And that's on Amazon, right? That's Amazon as well. That's not even some dodgy salesman up the road. That's 40 quid for a red resistance band. Should be 8 quid max.
Mate, well, that golf net I've just got in the garden, which is brilliant. I've had about 35 people ask me where I got it from. I should have got it on commission. And I literally just got it as soon as we heard that Boris was locking us down again. I went on Amazon, it said 3 available. So I got one. Obviously sold out straight away. You can't get a golf net now for love nor money.
No.
So, right, what else have we got here?
And the people buying them can't even hit the golf net. Sorry, mate, go on.
Yeah, I was chatting to someone online last night that said, I'm just thinking about getting a net, but they're not big enough. I was worried about the windows.
Exactly, yeah. Fix your shanks first.
Yeah, I like it. We've got one here. Can ladies play on the Vestis Tour? Absolutely, they can. We've had Rachel McQueen play. We've had a half a dozen other ladies play. It's not It's not as popular as we want it, but we certainly want to get as many women, juniors, everyone involved. What else have we got? Oh, here we go. Best flexibility exercises at home with zero equipment. That was David Marchand that asked that one.
Thanks, David. Very good question, mate. Again, very subjective. For me, it could be a hamstring flexibility exercise. For David, it could be a spine mobility exercise. It's difficult to give a direct answer on that one. Something I would say is core stability is a great way of creating and of helping with flexibility.
Right.
So if the core's not providing its stability, then it's going to borrow some from the joints that are directly above and below it. So we're looking at upper back and hips. Yeah, for a golfer, that's an absolute nightmare. All right, so we need mobile hips and mobile T-spines. So I would say get stuck into some planks and side planks, really bulletproof that core, do them well. Yeah, don't skip them, and that will help your flexibility.
Top man. Okay, mate. Well, that's pretty much all of it. Good catch up.
Good man. Yeah, good to see you.
Another day of lockdown.
That's it, mate. You need to do more of these. Give you something to look forward to.
Absolutely, mate. I can tick another day off the list.
That's it, mate. One day closer.
Yeah, and we'll see you. Are we seeing you March on tour?
I'll be there, mate. As long as the Folly is open, I'll be there.
Well, what we'll try and do, mate, maybe get you involved in one of the events so that one of the winners can have a little one-to-one with you.
Do that, mate. Or I tell you, we'll go on the next one. I'll do warm-ups. I'll do warm-ups for anyone who wants to warm up before they play.
We're bringing the GC quad to the range beforehand, so the members of the tour can come and use the quad, get a bit of yardage stability, so they know how far they're hitting the ball on that day, and we could do a bit of a strength and conditioning and warm up with you alongside it. That'd be brilliant.
Get stuck in, mate. Best tour there is.
Yeah, you know it.
That's it.
Top man.
Mate, thanks for having me on. I enjoyed that.
Mate, you're welcome. Thanks for coming on, and take care. I'll see you soon.
See you later, pal. Nice one.
Cheers, buddy. Bye.
Bye.